9 июля, четверг. Путин в Кремле.
Today is July 9, Thursday. Putin is in the Kremlin. The work schedule continues today without any major public events. Among those who will be at the president's meeting will be the president of the Trade and Industry Chamber of Russia, Sergei Katarin. This is a very important organization that performs very important functions for the business community and business organizations, for specific firms and companies in various sectors. It issues many certification documents, engages in legislative activity. Today we will talk about all this at the meeting with the head of state. What else can I say about the schedule? Today, the president signed a list of assignments on the results of the meeting with the president on the implementation of state policy in the field of supporting the Russian language and the languages of the peoples of Russia. This will be published on the website. My colleague and advisor to the president of Russia, Yelena Alexandrovna Yampolskaya, will give a briefing on this topic for your colleagues. She will comment on this list of assignments in detail, answer your questions, and discuss other humanitarian issues with you. As for the president's schedule, what questions do you have? In the opinion of the Kremlin, how can you relate to the statement of the current U.S. administration about the desire to establish a dialogue? And does the Kremlin see an escalation in this return to Washington? No, we don't. Rather, we see some misunderstandings in the administration of the White House. Misunderstandings regarding the fact that escalation and military pressure can contribute to a peaceful settlement. This is a wrong judgment. I would like to remind you of President Putin's statement that the more the Kiev regime attacks our infrastructure, the more we will have to create a security zone. Therefore, the further escalation may prolong the special military operation to some extent. We cannot say for sure. But this will lead to the fact that we will have to create a larger security zone, a larger buffer zone. Therefore, the escalation will in no way contribute to a peaceful process. Thank you very much. Can I ask a question? Go ahead, please. Can I ask one more question? Go ahead, please. Thank you very much. After the talks with Zelensky, Trump stated that he was going to call Putin. Do you already have an understanding of when such a conversation could take place? Apparently, Mr. Trump was very busy after all the contacts in Ankara, so no one called him yesterday. President Putin is always happy to talk. They really have a constructive dialogue, despite certain discrepancies that may take place, which we talked about in the first question. No one has called yet. President Putin is open to dialogue. Thank you very much. Dmitry Sergeyevich, can I ask you a question? Go ahead, please. Thank you. Is there any position in the Kremlin regarding Trump's statement on the transfer of the Ukrainian license to the Patriot system? Also, Trump said yesterday that the United States could provide for the closure of the sky over Ukraine as a tool of security guarantees. Is there any position on this?
Продолжение темы. Спасибо. Есть ли у Кремля какая-то позиция по поводу заявления Трампа о передаче лицензии Украине на системы Patriot? И также Трамп вчера заявлял, что США могут обеспечить закрытие неба над Украиной в качестве инструмента гарантии безопасности. Есть ли какая-то позиция на этот счет тоже?
This is a new statement. Previously, there were no such statements. Previously, no one discussed the topic of the closure of the sky. In any case, the point will be that the armed forces of NATO will work on the territory of Ukraine. This is exactly what special military operations are carried out against. This should be understood. Therefore, of course, we still have to think about how this issue has been worked out, between whom it has been worked out, and so on and so forth. As for the Patriot, yes, this is an obvious fact. The United States continues to supply arms and military technology to Ukraine. Indeed, we know this. We do not wear pink glasses. President Putin knows this perfectly well. But at the same time, there is a kind of duality in the position of the United States. At the same time, the United States, unlike the same Europeans, still has a desire to contribute to the outcome of the peace process. Let them sometimes get lost. Let them sometimes make mistakes. But this desire seems sincere to us. We welcome it, and we hope that after, despite the significant complications, the Americans will still be able to figure out the history around Iran. There will be a turn and renewal of their efforts in the Ukrainian direction. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Dmitry Sergeyevich, Reuters, if I may. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Dmitry Antonov, Reuters. As far as I understand, the Kremlin has already heard Trump and Rubio's statements at the NATO summit in Ankara. How can such statements affect the further negotiation process between Russia and the United States on further contacts between Putin and Trump? We have differences in positions. In my previous answer, I spoke about a kind of duality in the position of the United States. On the one hand, they continue to supply arms. But unlike the other countries involved in this conflict, the United States still maintains its commitment and attempts to somehow contribute to the peace process. It is through the prism of such a relationship that we evaluate all the statements.